up?
What's the word, man? LTA, how you feeling out there?
Man, it's another beautiful day, man. Feeling good, man.
No doubt, no
You know what
doubt.
I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Back at it again.
What you got for us today?
Man, I've been dealing with a lot of these fentanyl overdoses, man.
Yeah.
So like, there's been a lot of cats, man, been overdosing off that fentanyl pack, man. And I think that, you know, it's something that we probably should bring awareness to just for some of the families. I know we tried to touch on it before, but like since then, I think it's been two deaths closely related to the family, man. People overdosed off of some form of pharmaceutical, what they call it, opioid. So
yeah, they got a new one out in DC right now. That's just like Fetty.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but I just seen it on the news the other day, and it's the same thing, same exact
Same thing. It's like free choice. They're giving us the tools to kind of self-destruct right now. And the way I look at it is like fentanyl is easily accessible and it comes from the government. So it's not like you have, you know, cocaine coming across the border, you know, keyed up, all this type of stuff, and people chopping down bricks of cocaine. Like fentanyl is actually made and manufactured and distributed by legitimate pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, that's the wild part.
Right, so it's all legit. So like, it's the same thing with the switch. It's like, you know, right now, all the tools that are necessary to destroy our population are made legit, so that the people who make and distribute the things that destroy our community can't even be charged for it. But if an individual gets caught with some fentanyl, and it's not a prescribed medicine, they can end up, you know, doing some time out in the real world behind that fentanyl stuff. And then people dying, man. That's the reality of it. It's like people dying.
And I definitely understand people dying, but one thing I kind of don't understand though is the free choice part. Like, okay, for example, the dude that gave Mac Miller his drugs, he just got sentenced to a whole bunch of crazy years. I think he got like 20 or something.
Yes. So like, if the charges can be related to the person that sold it outside of the pharmaceutical company, they could be charged with a crime. Right? They could get charged. So I was just dealing with a young man in the hospital the other day. He OD'd, and you know, the family is trying to figure out what to do, and I'm trying to navigate all the resources for him. And then come to find out, the only way that they could qualify for resources to assist them with their family member if they OD is if the person who sold him the fentanyl is charged. That's the only way you can receive the help. And trying to find that is like a needle in a haystack.
And what I was gonna say is though, it's like, okay, so if I sell you the drugs, you want the drugs.
Right.
I sell you the drugs.
Right.
And you die.
It's a free will. It's a free will.
I understand, like, you know, I don't rest in peace to people that's dying from it, but if you're choosing, if you, and there's people out here that ask for fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like I was at the gas station, and this little dude, he had to be about probably like 19. He was a white kid, a tank top BMW and shit. You could tell he's surfing party cat.
Yeah, they want the fentanyl.
He like, I want the Fetty.
Yeah.
He like, if it ain't the Fetty, I don't want it.
People dying.
So it's like if you conscious of what you taking, I should be liable for that.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, because when you think about free will, you think about alcohol, right? You think about cigarettes, all the different things that people can openly grab and use and, you know, abuse if they want to. But on the back end, like the nicotine and cigarette manufacturers, they got charged in a lawsuit for what they were doing to the society. But after the lawsuit was fulfilled, they were still able to function as companies, you know, as long as they kept a little warning on the package. It's just a lot of the things, man, that are placed in front of our children and placed in front of people in our community, yeah, it's free will, but it's heavily accessible, and it's designed for you to want, you know what I'm saying, want these things, and to pretty much self-destruct.
Yeah, I mean, that's true as far as like the design part, you know, everything is systematic.
Yeah.
They just set all this up for it could be what it is, you know what I'm saying? And the only time it backfires on them is now that the suburban kids are super hooked off the opioids and stuff. Now it's a crisis and stuff now.
So like, if you think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like we are going through a repeat in time. So we had social and civil unrest after Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were murdered. The streets in the main cities went through civil unrest, and the way that they pacified that population then was with heroin, right? So, you know, civil unrest is going on. You know what I'm saying? There's free will, there's free choice, free to choose what you want to do, and then heroin gets introduced to the scene, and tons of kids start overdosing on heroin. 1969. Fast forward to now. We had the civil unrest after George Floyd, 2020. So it's like a structural and systemic design where they kind of know how to play the pieces in chess, to not force you to take something, but to allow it to be readily available so that if you think you need it, you can. And right now, a lot of kids are suffering with depression and you know, all undiagnosed mental health issues, and they are using fentanyl in the same rate that they was using heroin back in 1969. It's history repeating itself all over.
And like you said, it's all designed. look at cigarettes, look at, you know, look at coffee. Look at coffee, man.
Design.
You think about how much money on an average, say you go to work every morning or whatever, even if you go at night, but say in the morning for sure, how much people are spending on an average at the damn gas station on a daily basis.
Cigarettes, you know what I'm saying?
Coffee or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just like, that's even sugar, like donuts and stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I was reading a post, and it was a post that said 90% of the food that's in grocery stores did not exist 90 years ago. And 90% of the diseases that are existing today did not exist 90 years ago. So it's like this nasty correlation as to what big companies, big business has designed as a free will. So you can walk in the grocery store and go down the potato chip aisle, you find 100 different varieties of potato chips, knowing that potato chips has the potential to cause high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and it's actually not a healthy food, but it's readily there. So if you want to OD on chips and go eat chips all day, you know, eventually down the line, that free will and consumerism will allow a person to self-destruct.
no doubt.
And that's what I think what's going on is that a lot of the products and things of that nature that are out, you know what I'm saying, are designed for us to utilize them in free will in an attempt to self-destruct. It's sad. And as you're watching it, like, it's a lot of kids dying right now, man. You know, unfortunately, and we have to be aware of what these children are doing. Parents need to be monitoring their children
a little better. I mean, as much as you can, you know what I'm saying? We understand that you know, it's hard to do, it's at this day and age, especially with social media, but yeah, try your best to monitor your kids as best as possible. And that kind of goes into the other stuff we're going to talk about next.
Like,
parents got to take some kind of responsibility.
They got to. And then if you think about it, like, a lot of the parents, you know what I'm saying, are lackadaisical when it comes to actually raising children properly. So a lot of the parents, you know, they do work a lot. Families do have to, you know, 2-3 jobs to support their family, and the supervision around children isn't what it used to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? There were certain things you couldn't do as a child at our age that parents just freely allow their children to do now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Staying out past X amount of time at night. Like, when the street lights came on, we had to go home. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you came home after the street lights was on in the families we was in, hey, you got your butt toe off. You know what I'm saying? It was a matter of, like, respecting your elders. It was a matter of respecting your autonomy. It was a matter of just respecting life in general. And right now, like, it's not that. I've seen parents give their kids drugs to sell. You know what I'm saying? I've seen parents blatantly disrespect people in front of their children, and their children disrespecting people. I've seen parents smoke reefer with their children, drink with their children, you know what I'm saying? So this level of respect just isn't there no more, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, you can't, like my house was a little loose too, and I learned how not to let my kids be loose because I had a little leeway, and I seen how that affects you as a kid with authority in the whole 9 yards, right? So you cannot be, you go to a get together, whatever, you got the 11-year-olds, the 13-year-olds, the 14-year-olds, the 17-year-olds, they're with the 40-year-olds, the 55-year-olds, they all listening to the same music. They all passing around the shindig with
drinking,
you know what I'm saying?
giving the shorties drinks.
At the same, and like I said, it could be a 55-year-old there, it could be a 60-year-old there, and then 17. Like you gotta separate some of that stuff. Y'all go downstairs in the basement and have y'all fun or wherever. You know, you gotta separate it. And we ain't saying like. Ain't no such thing as hiding nothing. Even then, I don't believe that you should hide nothing. But it's boundaries.
Children have their place.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, you gotta have boundaries.
You got to, man. And right now, like with this lack of boundaries, man, like we are losing a vast number of young lives and elders because they ODing on fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? They getting it. Readily able to grab it, you know what I'm saying, and are able to abuse a drug that is manufactured legally in the States, but can be deemed illegal on the streets. But are you, as a patient, you're given this medication in a hospital. I mean, it's just so tricky, man. You know, it's the free will, you know what I'm saying, and then getting rid of all the bad fentanyl and all the stuff that the manufacturers can't sell to the pharmaceutical companies and putting it on the streets, man. It's terrible.
It's definitely free will, but we do have to understand how fucked up it is that it's systematic. Like it's planned.
It's planned.
Yes, it's on you to take the drug or not, but the setup though is all fucked up.
And it's in the mentality. So like when I think about history and how it repeats itself, and I think about the Native American population. You know what I mean? And it's sad that they even have to go through what they're going through in this current day. But a lot of the things that are there to destroy the community, they use. People are using it in free will. You know what I'm saying? A person could, put a liquor store on every corner and then expect somebody not to drink in a neighborhood where they are, oppressed psychologically, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And then expect you to cope and navigate through a community that has a liquor store on every corner. It's free will, but it's designed. Man, so in regards to the fentanyl, man, I just want all y'all to just be safe, you know what I'm saying? Be mindful of what's going on in your community. Definitely don't indulge in fentanyl, man, because people are dying at an increase. And it's this comparison, right? So fentanyl to me is just like heroin, you know what I'm saying? It's a replay in time. So after a civil unrest, the only way to keep the population docile is to intoxicate them.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. So like I said, it's the design is always the design, and it's fucked up, and it's definitely systematic. You know what I mean? I would say, you do gotta have some responsibility. It's your free will to take the drug or not. Seek help if you do want to get off of it.
And there is help for individuals that are facing this crisis right now. There is help to help you navigate through that chemical dependency portion. And if
you're around people that's doing it, you don't do it. Learn from their mistakes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They say the wise man learn from someone else's mistakes. So
it's interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. Definitely a conversation that's needed in all communities. You know what I mean? Because we're all affected by it right now. So and it boils down to parenting. Hold your children accountable, right? So we got another situation we're dealing with where, in all cases, man, the parents could do better, man. What was that situation that was happening with T.I.'s son?
King, man. T.I.'s son was I think it's a chicken and waffle, I think.
Chicken and waffles, Roscoe's?
Well, yeah, one of those
Waffle House type.
Waffle House or something.
Okay.
I think it was Waffle House. And he was in there, I don't know what it started from, but he was in there cussing him out, telling him he had more money than blah, 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 right?
Right.
So the part, and he also said some incriminating shit too, like, come outside, I'll show you what I do, and I'm outside, I got this, I got that, you know what I mean?
King gotta be the softest looking little boy I've ever seen in my life.
and
I can't even lie, that boy looks soft as hell.
And he's little as hell too.
Little as hell.
He got the complex, I guess.
Oh my God.
But the part I wanted to talk about, he's young, so he's gonna make some mistakes. I hope that I hope he could fix that fast because he's already in the spotlight. He's a celebrity child, blah blah. You know how that shit goes. You know how that goes with the drugs and everything. I don't know if he's on drugs. I'm just saying how it goes. You know what I mean?
It's definitely up there with
it. So the part I want to talk about is T.I. response though. His dad response.
Yeah.
His dad jumps on live and says, "Yeah, well, me and my I think he said his uncle, so like his brothers or whatever. I think he was like, yeah, we was puzzled by, and you know we had to talk with him about why did he feel necessary to go back and forth with a person of a lower stature than him."
Wait, so instead of T.I. trying to coach his son on how to be respectful, he pretty much flat out told him, "What you even wasting your time speaking to somebody less than you?"
Less than you. He said he said it because he said
wow.
Somebody on a lesser life than you, got a different life than you. You know, some people wanted to make it certain places but didn't make it certain places. She is a what's the name cook? What's those called? A shorthand cook.
Shorthand cook.
You know, so he ain't really saying it like don't argue with somebody that's ignorant and on your level. He ain't saying it like that. He's saying don't argue with somebody that's less than you.
Less than you. So he just downplayed everybody that has to work in that industry.
Right. Like what did her profession have to do with it? I didn't hear nothing about him saying, well, if he was disrespectful, I checked him. If you know what I'm saying? Or you know, like
no apologies.
No apologies
nothing.
Or like
oh wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'll tell you, man, like our generation, man, we the parents, you know what I'm saying? And we are setting the examples and the standards of what is acceptable from our children. At one point in time, there is no way in hell, regardless of no type of money status, a young man could talk to a woman like that. Or anybody, any type of adult.
Yeah, like
that.
if they ain't flat out, even say if an adult do say something smart to you and you ain't an adult, you eat that sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to mind your manners.
You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Or like I said, he's young, so I understand we all did shit when we was young. But he went through multiple cases like this or whatever, so this is just his attitude.
Now that I think
he
about
really
it,
just think he king.
That little dude, when he was on that TV show with them, he had that type of attitude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was the spoiled baby. Yeah. So it was like he was supposed to get his way all the time, and when he didn't, I remember when he used to try to buck up at Tiny.
And do you think that's a whole psychological thing? So he named one king, he named one major, and like you said, in those shows back then, they was the more like...
Yeah, they aggressive. Them little boys was spoiled, man. They felt like couldn't nobody tell them nothing. And they actually had the audacity to try to get buck with their mother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's almost like they program them kids to behave like such, man. That's sad.
And well, first of all, I don't know those celebrities, so I don't never act like I do, you know what I'm saying? I don't know him personally, so I don't know him as a person.
Right.
But I'm disappointed in T.I. with that response.
I mean, it just goes to show the level of parenting, man. These kids, our generation, is making the next generation more toxic. Yeah. And to a certain extent, I think about it like some of the rich white kids that's out in the world. You know what I'm saying? In the way that they are able to disrespect adults on so many different levels. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like our cultures are now merging. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird.
It's even in gangs, there's no big homies, there's no guidance. With the parents, people ain't really parenting, you know what I'm saying? Like, social media is raising kids. And like you said, I know it's hard, we work a lot, or whatever. You even got just the ignorant ones too. I ain't gonna let y'all off the hook.
No, it's some ignorant parents out there. Straight up, like.
You got your little 2-year-old, 3-year-old daughter twerking.
Yeah, no.
You dudes got your kids throwing up gang signs and wearing rags and shit.
Smoking blunts. I done seen pictures with the shorty smoking blunts.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous that we would allow the things that caused us a lot of harm to just go freely with our children. You know what I mean? Like smoking, drinking, being disrespectful to adults.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Talking back to your parents, like
that's
it's weird. You know what I'm saying? And then it sets us up like to end up in situations like what just happened in Buffalo. Or situations like that just happened in Texas, you know what I'm saying, where these kids become so entitled that when they don't get their way, they act out in ways that are highly aggressive that can cause damage to everybody around them. And it's generated from home.
let's do this. Let's play a little devil advocate a little bit and give a little sympathy to the parents that's out there that do try, like you said, they might work with whatever, and then nowadays they scared to discipline. Not using this as an excuse, but they scared to discipline because kids is calling the schools and blah blah blah. What about them situations?
So in those situations, like there's ways to parenting. You know what I mean? Like, there are different levels to parenting, and if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a parent, man, throughout that child's life, they will build that respect and that honor for you.
Yes.
Now, if you are being a disrespectful parent or a parent in which a child could question your parenting skills, your child is going to likely rebel against you. And I see it happen in most of these houses, you know, like, yeah, mom might be going at work, but when mom comes home, she's not trying to really parent the child. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
There's no connection. So even though mom's been gone all day trying to take care of the home, she comes home and allows her children to disrespect her in a manner that, in my opinion, you know, most of these kids should get punched in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? For trying to disrespect adults and their parents the way that they do. And then you think about how society set us up. You know what I'm saying? The majority of these children's fathers have either been programmed into believing that there's only one way of life for African American people,
Right.
or they're absent all the way.
And then as far as discipline goes, you don't always have to do physical to discipline.
Yeah, you don't have to put your
You don't always got to do physical. Me personally, I believe it's necessary. Depend on the case of what it is. It might be necessary, but physical, that ain't the only way to discipline.
Yeah, because I know, you know, I've only had to use discipline once. You know what I'm saying?
Physical discipline.
Physical discipline when it came to my daughter, and that's because she ran down the street with her friend. I couldn't find her for like 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? I was highly upset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, parents, get on your kids. Start, you know what I'm saying, encourage them to do better. Teach your children the use of language skills so that they're not worrying about solving their problems physically, or if they're met with a situation, that they don't become hostile with individuals just because they can.
Right.
You know?
Spend a little time, like even if you ain't got money, you know what I'm saying? Like there's free little things you do, like picnics.
Yeah.
It's summer, when it becomes summer, if you live in a state where, you know what I'm saying, if it's winter time, you could, once summer comes, you could do picnics. In the winter time, you could go outside and go sledding.
Skiing, we've been skiing. Yeah, we've been skiing.
Creating little fires,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, in your backyard or whatever, or, you know, it's things you could do, like build that bond, you know. And when your kids become teenagers, they don't like to be around you that much, but still, even them, you gotta make them do things here and there if they don't want to, you know what I mean? You gotta once a month or something, you dig?
Like for example, this weekend, the boys thought they was finna stay in the house all day and play video games and watch YouTube. Man, if y'all don't get out here in this yard,
right?
You know what I'm saying? For one, we're gonna learn how to pitch a tent. We're gonna learn how to set the fire. We're gonna learn how to, you know, be of assistance. They need to learn how to barbecue. You know, a lot of these kids nowadays don't even know what it's like to barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Like 20-year-olds. I remember when we turned 20. We took the grill over, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, watch out, man, we got this, you know what I'm saying? Now, man, these kids 20, 25, 26 years old don't even know how to make a hamburger on a grill, man. It's crazy.
So yeah, and everybody's saying that, you know, we all know ain't nobody perfect, ain't nobody in the world perfect, so there's gonna be things you slip on. But just try to just do your best as a parent, you know what I'm saying? I understand if you had a baby when you was 16 and that first one kind of got away, but you got to learn from that one. That with your second child and your third child, however many kids you got, you're supposed to get better and better and better. You know what I mean?
Step your game up, man. One quote that I use a lot is, "Don't raise your children to be like you. Raise them to be 10 times better than you."
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that should be a logic that is used cross-culturally and definitely in every single household within our community. Don't allow your children to be you. Make your children be 10 times better than you, and explain the mistakes of life and all of the things and decisions that you make as they're growing, so that they know you're not trying to hassle them, you're just trying to save them some time.
Yeah, and kids out there, even if you did get raised what you might call fucked up,
yeah.
Give your parents a little grace. You know what I mean? They probably was fucked up on drugs or whatever. You know,
be 10 times better than your parent.
Be 10 times better than your parent,
You
man.
know, they gonna give you all, like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody give me the roadmap to success. I had to learn from observation and the mistakes made by the adults in my life. And that should make me better. But a lot of people see what happens in the community and go right along with it, thinking that that is the way that they're supposed to be, knowing that it's messed up. It's fucked up. You know, going to a store and cussing out the people behind the register and trying to dehumanize or minimize them is bogus. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna indulge in it anyway. You know, it's messed up, man. But get your kids in check.
No doubt.